Hello, everybody. Everybody as in me, Duncan Morland, Kash Abassi, our local crypto expert. I say local even though you're in London, I'm in Devon. And our one audience member, which is Beck from BetChat. So I hope you've got lots of questions, Beck, because tonight we're doing the Crypto with Kash Why Buy Now? Why Buy Crypto Now? Live podcast Q&A. We've got 4 reasons for you that you might want to consider buying some crypto right now. We're going to talk about the current state of the markets and just have a bit of a chin wag about crypto. But before that, Kash, you have been in Japan for the last few weeks, I think, and also you told me a minute ago that you've been traveling for the last 30 hours. So how are you and can you speak?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just waiting for you to finish there.
Sorry.
It's been a great couple of weeks. Just come back from Japan. I've been traveling for around 30 hours, around 22 hours of flying.
Wow.
It was exhausting, to be honest with you, but it was good fun. Happy to be back. It was when we landed, it was -5 degrees. Did not expect that, to be honest with you.
In the UK, you mean it was, or in Japan?
It was -5 degrees when I got back to London.
Right.
I was expecting Japan to be colder, but no, I think they kind of flipped the script.
Yeah. So what was your highlight from the trip? I'll just get you to do it. A quick glimpse.
You know what? To be honest with you, the entire trip was just incredible. Well, we first went to Osaka, then we went to Kyoto, then we went to Tokyo. Kyoto was beautiful. I mean, the natural scenery there is just sensational. We went, we hiked through 2 mountains in the same day. And there's like monkeys roaming freely through the mountains.
Where did you stay? Is it lots of villages and stuff? Or?
Lots of villages, yeah, lots of villages. The thing that stands out most to me about Japan, I was told it was a clean, tidy place, but you don't fully appreciate it until you get there. Like the whole 2 weeks I was there, I didn't see a single cigarette butt on the floor, chewing gum on the floor, single crisp packet, nothing whatsoever.
When you get back to Heathrow, London.
Yeah, which is a bit different. But even, for example, I thought Tokyo, because it's the biggest city, at least there would be some sort of rubbish on the floor there. But even then, I didn't see anything. It was amazing, and the people were very friendly, very joyful, very cheerful people. So had a great fun.
That's awesome. Was there any crypto related stuff that you saw?
Funnily enough, when I was walking through the shopping centers, one of the books that they were advertising was about Web3, and which was interesting. It was written completely in Japanese, of course.
Right. Yeah.
And some of the shops that I went past had the Bitcoin symbol, letting customers know that they can pay in Bitcoin, which is quite interesting to see.
Yeah. So nobody flying around in cars made out of Bitcoin yet, or anything like that?
Not yet. Maybe a few years. Maybe in a few years.
Right. Well, I'm glad you're back in the UK, even though it's dirty and cold. Welcome back.
Relatively speaking and comparatively speaking, yes.
Yeah.
It's a great place here. I love it.
So we've prepared a bit of a kind of briefing for people about reasons why they might want to buy crypto now when we're in this bear market. So I'm going to try and just share my screen with people. You can let me know, Kash, if it works. Is that working?
Yep.
And can you see the top of that page?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, brilliant. So what we're going to do is I'm going to kind of go through each of the reasons and we'd have a chat about each of them. So, I mean, why buy now is quite a big claim, I think, because the crypto markets have been down for the last more than a year. I think they've been steadily going down. Although recently we've had a little bull run. And there's 4, so we can talk about that in a bit, what's happened in the last few days, I guess. So we've got 4 reasons and a bonus reason. The bonus reason is we've currently got a £200 discount on Crypto with Kash membership until 29th of January. And we can talk about that at the end of this podcast. But reason number 1, Kash, why people might want to buy crypto right now is the big fish are already buying. And when I did a bit of research on this, I found out that 6 in 10, and we'll link this briefing like near the YouTube video or near where you find the podcast, so you can click through and read it for yourself. But 6 in 10 institutions increased crypto holdings in the last 12 months, so during this bear market. 6 in 10 said they would increase more over the next 3 years, and 7 in 10 said crypto prices would increase over the long term. And we've got some information about what the whales are doing as well. Kash, does it surprise you that the institutions are buying now?
It's one of those things where, the best time to buy is when everyone else has forgotten about crypto and, kind of dismissed it as a sort of fad. But, these institutions, they have access to the best data, they have access to the best brains in the industry. And there's a reason they've, begun accumulating positions during this bear market that we've had over the past 12 months. As you mentioned, they are increasing their allocations to crypto because prices are low, prices are cheap. Now is the time to be buying, as opposed to when everyone is talking about it, during the bull market, when prices have already gone up 500, 1,000, even 10,000%. So it makes sense for them to be increasing their portfolio allocations during this current period, and I expect it to actually continue in the coming months, especially as this new this new bull market that we are seeing slowly developing.
Yeah, maybe can you just have a word on that potential new bull market? What's happened with Bitcoin over the last few days?
Yeah, so what we're seeing is, in a way, it seems like seller exhaustion. So over the past few months, we've seen large crypto companies either going bankrupt or just essentially going kaput because of bad financial decisions that they've made and capital mismanagement. But what we've been seeing over the past couple of days and weeks is that negative news is no longer sort of causing sell-offs in the market. During a bear market, when negative news comes out, the market sell off almost significantly or almost instantly to the news. But now we've had so much bad news that the sellers seem exhausted. Those who wanted to sell or were spooked have already sold. And now it seems that the buyers are slowly re-entering the markets, which is what we've been seeing on several coins now. Bitcoin has jumped. It fell all the way down to, I think, 16,000. And now we're looking at 22,000, which is a positive sign.
Yeah, it's a big jump. I mean, it's not up to where it was at the height of the bull run, but it's a big jump. Also, so it's not just institutions and funds buying, but it's also what's known as crypto whales. So that's like people with more than 10,000 Bitcoin, and that can actually be individuals as well as sort of organizations. And so we found some charts, and it basically shows when these whale investors are buying, and it's always basically they're buying when prices are low. That's when they're stockpiling, and according to the charts on, I think it was Glassnode, so people can see them here. They started buying again, like during November. They started heavily buying again when markets were like, what's the word? Like oppressed.
Yeah, at the bottom it seems.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, what's your thoughts on kind of whales and following what they're doing, Kash?
Whales could be people who joined crypto early. Maybe in the early days, back when Bitcoin was under $1. They could also be sort of institutions. It could also be, as you mentioned, individuals with significant amounts of money, billionaires, who've perhaps not publicly announced that that they've invested in crypto. As mentioned, these people tend to have access to the best data, best analytics, best minds to essentially determine the state of the market. And seeing them, start accumulating again at these prices is definitely promising. And, not everyone has access to this data, especially these Glassnode and charts that you just showed previously. So it's good to be following on-chain data because the blockchain is essentially public, and you can see when these large players are moving funds from one wallet to another and sending funds from one wallet to another to accumulate certain coins. And by following these, which is what we do, it allows us to essentially follow decisions made by larger players and it tends to do quite well.
Yeah. So I mean, some of the like data software and websites you can subscribe to out there, which literally like focus on following whales and big kind of movements from big crypto wallets. There's one called Nansen AI,
Yeah,
and that which is really awesome, but also it's super expensive. So it shows how much sort of value there is in those strategies. Probably not blindly just following what the whales are doing, but like maybe kind of from a broad market fundamentals,
of
looking at
course, yeah.
macro moves. Yeah.
Use it as part of your analysis, not all of it.
Yeah. So institutions and whales are buying. Actually, I'll just share a quick story that was shared on the podcast before, which is in the 2000 and I think it must have been 2019. Markets were down. I was writing about crypto for a job for something, and I remember looking at some research of like in the markets it was all bad news about crypto, and that was the period of time when the banks were really laying into it. CEOs of banks and stuff. And what's that, Cash? What's that fund called? It's called like Is it Grayscale or?
Yeah,
Yeah, so the stats from Grayscale, which is basically at the time how a lot of institutions were investing in crypto, was just steadily going up throughout the entire period.
yeah,
So while all these institutions are just trash talking Bitcoin in the media and the headlines, the actual kind of allocation they were giving to cryptocurrency or the big players was just increasing through this fund. So again, it's like, yeah, got a picture of Warren Buffett on the screen here. It's like about being greedy when others are fearful and fearful when others are greedy.
yeah, for sure.
Sorry, I feel like I might have waffled a little bit there.
Not at all, not at all. It's a valid point. It's good to accumulate when prices are low, so you can hit the ground running when prices start going up again.
Yeah, and we've talked about that a lot on the podcast over the last year or so. It is really hard to do, especially when I think boredom kicks in. So people aren't even talking about cryptocurrency very much like they were anymore.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the sign, oh, this is like a period of time where you keep investing, I guess. So reason number 2, Cash, some altcoins are already starting to bite back. And I'll just give you a few examples from this bit where we've seen, and maybe you can talk about, we've seen even more of that this week. So we've seen some examples of small altcoins, 37% in 30 days, 31% in 7 days, 50% in 7 days. These are all over the sort of last couple of months. So while the overall market's been down, there have been some examples of cryptos going up. And in the sort of small cap cryptos, you've seen gains still like 500% in 7 days, 200% in 24 hours, and 900% in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And there was also a crypto that you tipped, Cash, in one of your recent newsletters that went from like 8 cents up to 27 cents. So it made about 237% in 152 days, which is triple your money. So this is all to say basically that there is, even though we're in a bear market, there is opportunities on smaller cryptos. So what are your thoughts on that, Cash?
Yeah, I mean, what we like to do is once we buy into a coin and it does very well, it goes up double or triple, what we should like to do is take our initial investment plus some profit and then leave the rest in essentially risk-free, because that way we've taken money from the market, we've got some profit, and then whatever happens with the coin there is just essentially profit, and it's essentially risk-free because we're playing with the market's money at that point. And we've done this on several occasions, and there's some coins which seem to be preparing to be making some similar moves in the coming weeks. Some coins already, as you mentioned, up 37%, but actually the best performing coin as we're looking today is up 78% for the week. And this is actually attracting significant amounts of trading volume. I think this one right here has 875 million daily trading volume, which is huge amounts of money. And there seems to be this narrative that both the Saudis and the Arabs, for example, and many people in Asia have started accumulating these coins and are entering the markets, which are perhaps, which is also a positive sign.
Is there a reason for that specifically, or?
I'm not sure whether there's a specific reason. I mean, some while ago, Bitcoin or sort of there was this narrative that crypto was banned or Bitcoin mining was banned in China. There was this mass exodus of miners leaving China, going to bordering countries.
Mm.
Um, but there's also this. I think we underestimate just how popular crypto is in China and other Asian countries, and they have a huge population there. So if they start, re-entering the markets, then we can see huge explosive growth in the coming weeks and months.
Yeah, it'd be
And
interesting
judging by
to.
the trading volume that we're seeing from these exchanges, there seems to be this narrative picking up that they are actually re-entering the markets, which is of course very good to see.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the headlines and sort of the social media kind of sentiment of people in Asia. Because I guess we're exposed to a very Western media and idea of things.
Yeah.
Also, just ask you quickly, what do you think of? Because I've seen a few times in the past the idea of kind of altcoin season and Bitcoin season. So the idea is when Bitcoin's rallying, altcoins tend to cool off, and when altcoins, as in smaller coins that aren't Bitcoin, are rallying, Bitcoin cools off. Do you think there's a sort of pattern there, or?
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, what tends to happen is when Bitcoin goes up, it sometimes we see a sell-off in altcoins because everyone essentially sells off their altcoins to jump onto the Bitcoin train. But what we're seeing now, which is quite interesting, is that as Bitcoin is going up, a lot of these other altcoins are, getting pulled up with it. When Bitcoin stabilizes, people look to see where better opportunities are. And because altcoins have smaller market caps, it's easier to see price swings on those sort of coins. So we may start to see money from Bitcoin being shifted onto these altcoins, which is perhaps why we're seeing some of these altcoins doing so well in recent weeks.
Mm.
As Bitcoin goes up and then stabilizes, that money transfers over to altcoins and they go up even further.
Yeah, and I guess the whole market sees more confidence come back into it. If it depends what
Absolutely,
happens over the next few weeks, but
yeah, for sure.
So reason to buy crypto right now. Number 3 is crypto adoption continues full throttle. So I'm just going to read a few of these out to you. So there's a website, I can't remember, it's 99bitcoins.com, and they've recorded that Bitcoin has been declared dead, like 467 times or something like that.
Probably a lot more now.
Yeah.
Following the bear market.
Despite that, there's real use. Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are being used in real use cases still. There's companies, more and more mainstream companies, using the technology to do things. And here's a few examples. So Schwab, Citadel Securities, Fidelity, and some other Wall Street firms launched a crypto exchange called EDX. Norway's central bank is using Ethereum to build their national digital currency. The Nasdaq Stock Exchange, the second biggest in the world, is launching a crypto custody service for institutions. India's central bank has teamed up with 4 big banks to launch a cryptocurrency pilot program, and over 100 million people around the world have access to instantaneous Bitcoin lightning payments, which is kind of like an extra layer being built on top of Bitcoin, although I don't totally understand technology, so I probably got that wrong. So basically the point is the development of real use cases for cryptocurrencies is continuing through this bear market. And Kash, you're like big on sort of long-term investing and investing in fundamentals, which is, I guess, part of your strategy. So I wonder if you have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, so what we like to do at Crypto with Cash is focus on the long term. So we understand that it's difficult to time these markets, and we also understand that crypto markets work in cycles. So we have cycles in 2014 where there was a peak and then there was a sell-off, and then we had another peak in 2017 and a sell-off, and another peak in 2021 and then a sell-off. So what we like to do is essentially screen these tokens, look for coins with long-term potential, with fundamental analysis, and focus on those coins and focus actually on the next couple of years, because we feel like even if the markets sell off, which they have been over the past year, we feel like in the next couple of years the price is going to be much higher. of course, we do like to, if the coin does very well in a short period of time, then we do like to take some money off the table and then leave the rest to run risk-free, as we mentioned. But we do focus on the long term here because, as we said, it's very difficult to time the markets, and we simply believe that prices will be much higher in the years to come.
Yeah, and it's also a less stressful way of investing than kind of trying to day trade, which is notorious in the crypto markets and normal stock equity markets.
Yeah,
People losing money trying to day trade.
absolutely.
So yeah, it's a more sustainable way of investing, I think, and it also can give you more confidence. I think one of the things you see, or I saw in the bear market, this year, is all of the people that had invested in different cryptos, for the reason that it's going up, and I read on social media that I should invest in this specific crypto. As soon as the value of that crypto starts coming down, their reason for investing in it is being invalidated, basically.
Yeah.
And so they won't hold it, they'll sell it, lose money, and it's probably a dud project anyway. Whereas if you're investing because you've done the research like you do, you do a multiple page write-up on each of the coins that are in the portfolio and any coin you recommend to the group, you have those fundamental reasons of like, why is this a good investment? So if you are feeling shaky, because of the markets, you can go and look at that and see, well, have any of these fundamental reasons changed? Like, are they still developing on the tech front? Are they still making partnerships, etc.?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like your approach, Kash.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. I mean, it's one of those things that you learn from experience. It's very difficult to time the markets. It's almost impossible to be a profitable day trader, as you can see the statistics, as you mentioned, for both equities and cryptos. But when you focus on the long term, that's when you can make more higher conviction plays and make potentially higher profits as well.
Yeah. And I think this feeds into the, why buy now, reason for, is a good thing to talk about, and see why in a sec. So the reason, why buy crypto now, reason for, markets tend to always go back up. So in the dot-com boom, there was, so this is early 2000s. There'd been a lot of talk about the internet, all these internet companies, they were making a lot of money, the stock price was going high, and then there was a collapse. And it was like the end of the world. All these companies are dead. Amazon is dead, blah, blah, blah. If you'd invested during that bear market in Amazon, you would have made something like 5,000 odd % return, to today. You could make the same case, the same kind of argument with Bitcoin. We've just talked about, it's been proclaimed dead 400 odd times. Yet when you zoom out on that on the long-term chart, it's an upward trajectory. And I wanted to just like reference our experience with this as well, with because you ran a crypto service, Cryptocurrency Profits, back in 2017, 2018, which I helped out on. And you tipped a coin back then, which was Binance Coin. And so we're talking about a long-term investment from, say, 2018 to a peak, which was 2020 maybe. So again, that was the potential to make 6,700% returns, but you had to sort of have that kind of fundamental, the belief in the fundamentals of investing in this coin and this project to be able to sustain keeping hold of it for a few years and then reap the rewards. Do you remember tipping that coin, Kash?
Yeah, I remember. I mean, at the time, it was two of the most popular crypto exchanges were Bittrex, Poloniex, and I think Bitfinex. And then I came across this Binance project. At the time, it had just launched, but the fundamentals of the project, the people behind working on the product, the user experience on the exchange, it just felt far superior from what was available on the market. And as you mentioned, we actually bought in at around $10, and now I think it's trading in the hundreds of dollars. So it was a pretty decent call. And I'm just happy that we were able to share that with our readers at the time.
Yeah, and I think it also goes to show sort of, even when you take a long-term view, cryptocurrency is a speculative asset, and that means there is the potential for like really large gains, 100% or multi-1,000% gains. So you can have, say, like, I don't know, you only need one coin to really sort of boost a portfolio, or one coin to really make some drastic returns, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, because I think even when you look at sort of the percentage returns of Bitcoin recently, that's not, you're not seeing those kind of gains in the stock market broadly, are you?
No,
On blue chip stocks still.
yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. So, when you are able to get into a project early, and if it does well, like, Binance Coin has, it essentially covers all the losses from other, investments that you may have made, and it covers those and takes you into profit. Like you mentioned, you need one big trade, big winning investment like this to do very well in crypto. And sometimes these coins really take off. I mean, we've seen coins in the past doing hundreds of 1,000% gains, maybe even millions. And even with a small investment of maybe $10 or even $100, that can turn into a substantial amount of money.
Well, yeah, even recent. I won't name it, but because it's still an active buy, I think for Crypto with Cash members. But it made you tipped it. I forget when it was, but it was sort of in the summer or something.
Yeah, it was in the short bear market that we saw in 2021.
Yeah, and it went up 237%, which is in 152 days, which is the possibility to kind of triple your money. So if you're seeing those kind of returns on one coin, you can offset losses, and as you said, you've got this approach to locking in profits, so locking in the amount you've invested, so you let the rest kind of run risk free. And again, you're letting it run because you believe in those coins and their long-term potential. So that small gain over 152 days might seem big, but you want to keep some money in it because, over the next couple of years, it could be even bigger, I guess. Is that the right way of thinking about it?
Yeah, that's definitely it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So I thought it was just a good idea to look, historically at the stock market and a lot of negativity around, companies like Amazon and stuff like that, just to kind of motivate people to zoom out a bit, I guess. So we have one more why buy now urgent bonus reason, which is that we've got a discount on Crypto with Cash membership until the 29th of January. That is next Sunday, so for a week. So it's our usual membership. You get Cash's current 24 coin cryptocurrency portfolio. You get a hot new bonus crypto pick every 2 weeks, so another write-up. And it was one of those that made 237% returns recently. You get email sell alerts, and Cash, I know you occasionally do a kind of portfolio roundup. So you'll go back through the picks and decide if someone needs selling, or kind of, do a kind of update on them.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of those might be, you're going to do one of those quite soon, aren't you? Or,
yeah.
And we get access to the private Telegram community. It is quieter during the bearish periods, kind of highlighting, what we've been saying today. People cool off on crypto when it's bearish. But we do have active members that still post on there. A shout out to Graham. Every time there's a green day, he's in there with a screenshot. And you get two guides as part of the membership too. One is to kind of help you get set up, and the other is about managing risk and stuff like that. So on quarterly membership, there's a discount of £70, and annual membership, there's a discount of £200, and that will run until midnight next Sunday, so a week. Oh yeah, and you get a money back guarantee, 30 days for quarterly membership and 60 days for annual membership. So we'll have a link to this briefing that we've just been through, and the order form, so you can buy if you want to, around the YouTube video or wherever you're listening to this podcast. So I'm having screen sharing inception here, so I'm going to turn that off.
I think Duncan, you've paused yourself. I think he's accidentally in the chat there. Just going to wait and see if he can rejoin quickly. Just going to wait for him there. Let me see if I can bring him back up. Let me message him quickly. Just bear with us, folks. Thank you. Hello, Duncan.
Hello, I'm back. Sorry.
Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Just checking in for you there.
Okay. Did you cover okay? What happened?
Yeah, all good.
Explode? Yeah, I think we were talking about me getting a new laptop just before this, and I think it might be time for me to get a new laptop.
Might be time.
Yeah, sorry about that. So saying there are a few people in the chat, so if anybody does have a question you want us to answer, just pop it in the chat. But if not, we can wrap
Would you
this
say
up.
that a link will be sent to viewers once this is over, in case people have joined late?
Yeah, so we've got some emails prepared and that briefing to go out over the next week to kind of highlight some of that research. I think probably even if you're not interested in joining Crypto with Cash, it's good to look at some of the kind of stats and what is going on, and maybe like a counter narrative to a lot of the headlines out there. Sorry,
I was just going to ask, how do they secure the discount?
So the discount, it will be on that link. So if you receive an email about the Why Buy Now kind of briefing, then it will be anywhere on that briefing at the bottom there will be an order form, and the discount will just be already like automatically applied. You don't have to put in like a code or anything. If anyone's confused or whatever, just drop us an email and we can send you to the right page. I've seen is it Jim Cramer, Cash?
Yeah.
Is he like
the CNBC host?
Yeah, I keep seeing people saying like because he's told everyone to sell crypto, the markets have now rallied.
Yeah, he's basically considered one of the best inverse indicators.
Yeah.
Whenever he says buy, you sell. Whenever he says sell, you buy. And it's interesting because some people have actually made inverse indicators. So whenever he tweets about something, they've created bots that automatically does the opposite. And it's turned out to be quite a profitable strategy.
Oh, we got a couple of questions. So I'll just say there was somebody else who, anyway, very famous investor on very famous doom and gloom investor, is on kind of talk shows a lot, and his managing editor once told me if you invested in the opposite of what he was doing, you would make a lot of money. So yeah, not just Jim Cramer, but so hello, Steph. Do you have any stats for the time you started the newsletter to now? For instance, if you had £100 on every recommendation, it was being updated. So BetChat Josh was actually updating the spreadsheet yesterday, I think. So we can set it might be on the website, but if you email, is it clients@thebetchat.com? Yeah, so I'll put the email address in the chat and we can send you a link. So if you email clients@thebetchat.com and just ask for, it's like a shared spreadsheet and you can see all of the recommendations. It has the 24 coin portfolio, including the ones where Cash recommended selling. Some of those are still recommended buys. And then it has these bonus recommendations, which have been going out as well. So that's all in there.
I think it's also important to mention that for the coins that we sort of discuss, we also include buy orders lower down. So even though if the price today is here, we also recommend lower buy orders to essentially capitalize on these potential price drops. As we mentioned, these markets work in cycles, and by acknowledging that, we sort of try to take advantage of that by essentially buy orders lower down. So if the market falls lower or even crashes to those sort of levels, we're able to bring down our average buying levels and get a better entry into these coins.
Yeah, I guess I always kind of looked at it like if you want to keep it simple, you just use the buy up to prices recommended for each coin, and then if you wanted to get a bit more, take a bit, more advantage, you would then use the lower down buy orders. And I know that to mention Graham from the community again, I know he's done that. He's used those buy orders to big effect in the past.
Yeah. I just think for the stats page, it doesn't take into consideration those lower buy orders. I think it only takes in the initial entry. But as you mentioned, a lot of the members have been taking advantage of those lower buy orders and to their benefit, you know.
Yeah. And I get, yeah, all the kind of lower buy orders they're at the bottom of every newsletter. So you'd get a write up where Cash goes through his strategy on a coin, and then you get the buy up to price. So buy this crypto up to this price. After that, don't buy it. And then you get sort of, it's usually about 3 lower buy orders that you might want to enter in the market in case the coin drops. Yes, that might be it for questions. Quite a quiet one, which kind of like makes the point of the people are very quiet on crypto at the moment. Or our why buy now headline wasn't quite enough to entice people to take part tonight.
But this is the thing. So I always say to people, even during the bull market, the crazy bull market that we had in 2020, 2021, I always told people that this isn't going to last forever. There are going to be times where everyone's forgotten about crypto, and those are going to be the best times to essentially start reaccumulating some positions in these projects, because as we said earlier, we simply believe that prices will be higher in the coming years. So even if they're low now and we have had sell-offs over the past year, this is a perfect opportunity to actually, enter the markets and see where the markets take you.
Yeah, and I think you've written about it maybe in the guide that people get, or maybe it was in one of the early newsletters about sort of dollar cost averaging, which is an unemotional way of just investing the same amount at a regular kind of intervals in projects that you believe in, even if it's just Bitcoin. I think a lot of people do that specifically with Bitcoin. Bitcoin maximalists would just...
And by doing that, essentially reminds you to stay involved in the markets when everyone else has essentially put it to the side. And that way you actually get better entries on these coins.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, that might be it for questions. But is there anything else you fancy talking about, Kash?
I think we covered what we needed to cover. I think we have discussed some important points. And yeah, I think it's an exciting time for crypto. The markets are picking up again. Kind of feels like the start of 2020 again, where the markets had sold off just after COVID. Everyone was panicking. They were saying it's all going to zero. I mean, we had that after one of the biggest exchanges sort of collapsed recently. I think that actually marked the bottom, interestingly enough. Bottoms are marked normally when there's a massive event that happens. For example, in March 2020 was COVID. This year it was FTX's collapse. And now we're seeing prices pick back up again. So yeah, it's looking like an exciting time for crypto again. And hopefully we'll see some higher prices in the months and years to come.
Yeah, and I think it's important to put out this message, the crypto with cash kind of approach and message now in the bear market, reasons to buy in the bear market, even if it is a kind of counter narrative to much of what's going on out there. Because hopefully we'll look back in a year's time and be like, yeah, it was the right call to be investing in this.
Yeah, exactly. And as you mentioned, one of some of the best performing coins we actually bought during the previous bear market in the summer of 2021, when China announced the ban on crypto, every single coin sort of sold off, prices crashed 50-60% almost instantly. And a lot of the projects that we bought then are still in profit and still higher now, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I don't think it's realistic to think that Bitcoin's going away, and especially if those real world use cases keep piling up.
Yeah,
that means money will eventually go into those areas, and the market cap will raise again. So, Steph, thank you very much for your question and taking part, and the few other people that attended tonight, thank you. Kash, thank you for your time. Do you have one more memory from Japan over the recent weeks to share with us? So you walked through
I bought some really delicious ice cream that I'm definitely going to miss.
You can't get that in the UK.
Yeah, you can't. I'm going to be looking for it, but I doubt I find it. It was
what was it like? What flavor?
It was so it was soft on the outside, and then of course frozen ice cream on the inside. But it had different flavors, so you could get, for example, cheesecake flavored ice cream. You could get Biscoff flavored ice cream, but it was just so well packaged. Even opening the package was part of the experience.
I thought, but it's supposed to be healthy in Japan. What's this?
Funnily enough, it was very difficult to find sweetened
Right.
drinks
Okay.
out there.
Did you
So
eat?
even if you order like a coffee from McDonald's, they won't give you sugar.
Right.
They'll give you like gum syrup, for example.
Right. That's interesting.
Uh,
Did you have
yeah, it was very difficult to
sushi?
find sugar out there.
Did you have a lot of sushi? Or because sushi is like my favorite thing. We're completely
I
off
had
topic now,
sushi
but yeah.
nearly every day while I was out there. I was
Oh
like,
man.
I need to make the most of it, and
I'm,
and, and it did taste different and better than any sushi that I've had here.
yeah. You want to try Tokyo Diner in London? That's my favorite.
I might check that out actually.
Good. Right. Thank you for your time this evening,
Thank you very
Cash.
much.
And we'll say again, yeah, there'll be a link to anyone who wants to take advantage of that £200 discount on Crypto with Cash membership. We're always looking to welcome new people to the community, and we hope we've laid out some real reasons to, even if you don't want to join Crypto with Cash, to sort of consider investing, whatever amount feels right for you, whether it's just a small amount in cryptocurrency at the moment. But yeah, have a good evening, Cash, and thank you again.
You too. Thanks very much, Duncan. It's been great as always.
Bye bye.